Hello, everybody. Hi, so my name is Eve. This is Eve's Creations Paint Party, and it's How To Tuesday. What? So, tonight's practice session, we're going to be doing a basket, so I'll probably have some sort of Easter basket or something up there, and this is for you guys to practice, so you can get your creations that much better. So, hello. Let me know if you're practicing with me and if anyone's practicing with me. And I'm going to show you my handy dandy table. All right. Hi, Cynthia. So I got my paint, same paint every single time. My yellow and red decided to make friends here. So white, yellow, red, blue, and black. I've got all sorts of brushes. I'll let you know what I'm using when I'm using it. Of course, the coffee is in the house. We gotta have that. So Cynthia is here, and we have Cindy hanging out with us tonight. And well, you guys are all on time, or I'm late, one or the other. Punky's here. Tina M in the house. Oh yeah. Tina B, yes, sweetheart. Hello, everybody. All right, so we gotta say hi to the you know who. Say hi to your fans, Butters. Say hi. There he is. He's a good boy. Yeah, he's being Mr. Chatty Pants today. He just, he wants to talk to everybody. So hopefully he'll behave during the video here. Bonnie, you made it. You're safe. Hello, Marcia. How you doing, love? Hello, artists. Bonnie made it. Donna's here from Kentucky. Everybody give Donna a warm Eve's Creations welcome. Hello, Donna. Welcome to the fam. Hello. All right, so I'm going to put you guys in your handy dandy holder, and let's slap some paint on this thing. And just a reminder, all my videos are kid friendly, so I'm going to try to watch this thing. You guys try to watch your comments. We'll be good to go. Always free to watch. Tips are appreciated. Stars is enabled, Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. Hi, Allison. How you doing, sweetheart? Hello, Allison. Hello, everybody. So, let me back you up. There we go. Now you can see the whole thing. There it is. The almighty blank canvas. Oh, it's so scary. Tippy's here. Hello, Tippy. Everybody give a warm welcome to Tippy. Hi, Diane. How you doing, sweetie? You're a watcher tonight? Watcher in the house. Oh, prayers to Diane. She's got some your eye is irritating you. All right, we're going to send prayers to help that eye stop being so dry eye. That's like the worst. Cynthia, thank you so much for the stars. I really appreciate that. Anybody that doesn't know anything about the stars, they're like a penny each. Oh, thank you so much, artists. I appreciate that. Tina M got a new fur baby today, a Pekingese Chihuahua. Wow, Tina M, you got a baby in the house. Baby in the house. Yeah, I bet it is uncomfortable, that's for sure. All right, I grabbed Big Boy. He is a 1-inch flat. I'm going to swirl, tap, dab him. We're going to throw a background on here real quick. All right, so I'm going to do like an Easter basket type thing. So let's do light green. So I'm going to grab yellow, and I'm going to grab my blue, and I'm going to grab some white. Okay, I'm going to make a big old pile here and get some, right? We love when there's fur babies. We love fur babies, and it's pollen season. I know. This is when we all become a mess. I know I suffer from allergies, that's for sure. I basically live in a bubble once spring comes. I'm in a bubble. I'm in a bubble when spring comes. Yes, I am. Because I have severe allergies. Yes, so I'm just throwing some green on here, blue, yellow, white, And we're just throwing a nice coat of green on here. Right, we're going to be doing an Easter basket tonight, so I figured a nice light green would be pretty on the background. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, because you guys like to see a whole picture. You put me to work on How To Tuesdays. So I posted all the How To Tuesdays coming up and all the paint parties coming up. So if you noticed, we have a special. It's a how-to on how to paint the sides of objects, but also it's our, you know, that Easter favorite marshmallow candies that I'm addicted to. A package is not safe when I'm around. It's definitely not safe when I'm around. It's not gonna happen. I will eat them all. I will eat them all up. Yes, I am a Peeps fiend, and I'm also those Cadbury eggs, the ones with the cream in the middle. I love those too. Yep. So Easter candy is not safe. Is definitely not safe with me around. Nope, not safe at all. So do not leave your Easter basket around Eve, because you're not going to have an Easter basket anymore. That is for sure. All right, so still just throwing this on here real quick, and that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to do an Easter basket, and I'm going to show you how to paint a basket. And this way, when you're doing all those paintings and you want to get ready for springtime, and you know, want to do a Easter basket or basket of flowers, or you know, whatever your little heart desires. Now you'll know how to do it. Oh, Cynthia, she freezes her peeps? I have never heard of that. Uh-oh. And unguarded chocolate's not safe around Diane. I hear you. I just flicked a whole big glob of paint on my hand. Let's get that right where it's supposed to be. Let's put that on the canvas. Got me all excited talking about candy, and now I'm flinging paint all over the place. You never liked the marshmallows, but the Cadbury cream eggs are a whole other story, right? Bonnie's peanut butter fudge, Reese's peanut butter eggs. Oh, and those little Irish potato candies. Yeah, I haven't had one of those in like a long time. They're not like, you really don't see them around too much. Oh, you don't like anything marshmallow, huh, Tina B? But Bonnie's talking about Reese's peanut butter eggs. Oh my goodness. Anything with peanut butter and chocolate, I'm in for it. Donna, you don't open your chocolate. If you do, you're going to eat the whole bag. I hear you. I'm telling you. I totally understand. I can get with that. I can totally get with that. 6,000%. Yeah, we're I knew I liked you guys for a reason. Reese's Pieces eggs. Oh, Reese's Pieces are pretty good. I haven't had those in a good minute either. Nope, I haven't had those in a good minute either. Okay, so I'm going to put Big Boy in the water. I got to let that settle down a bit. We got nice, pretty spring green going on there. I got paint on myself already. Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. We're already talking chocolate. Cheers. We're already talking chocolate. That's the best conversation ever. So I'm going to do a little roll call. Make sure I got everybody. If I missed you, make sure you say hello, hello, hello. I got Cynthia and Cindy, Punky, Tina M, Tina B, Marcia, Artist, Bonnie, Donna, Allison, Tippy, and Diane. So I'm glad you're all here with me. So we're going to be working with browns. Oh, yes, always kid-friendly, Donna. Absolutely, 6,000%. Sue's just walking in. Hello, Sue. Yes, I try. Eve has to behave because I love when the kiddos create. So I have to behave. And it's all good because they're amazing. So we're going to be working with browns. All right, so you know the deal. If you have brown paint, your granddaughter and I paint every Saturday. We love to paint. That's awesome, Donna. So if you go on my page, all the replays are there, and also on my YouTube channel. And every single video is always the same supplies, and every single video is always the same paint. And every single video is kid-friendly. So you'll be all set. You'll be all set. All right, so we got to mix brown. Unless you have brown paint laying around. Laverne's being a watcher tonight. All right, Laverne. Hello, sweetheart. Yeah, we got watchers. We got creepers. We got all sorts going on. We got painters. It's all good. It's all good. Bonnie, you love the brush set. That's hysterical, Bonnie. You love the brush set you got. Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Yes, 6,000%. All right, brown. So, red, yellow, white. I'm going to use a lot of white because I'm not mapping first, so I'm going to use a lot of white. And some blue over here. Brown is basically every color mixed together. And then as you're mixing it, you know, if it's starting to look a little green, then you got to add more red to it. If it's starting to look a little purple, then you got to add more yellow to it. You just got to play. You just got to play, that's all. And it's every color. Every color. And I'm using a whole lot of white because I didn't map this first. No worries, Bonnie. All good. Hello, everybody. Okay, so basket. All right, so I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do a oval. Shoop. We're going to do an oval. And I'm going to grab white. Just white with this. Okay, so, because my green is still very, very wet. So we're going to put an oval on here. And I'm going to grab just white. And we got to do a scoop. Scoop that way. And scoop this way. Alright. Fill this in. Get this filled in. Right. And I'm, notice when I'm doing my brush strokes, I'm doing them the shape of the object. You want to always do your brush strokes, the way you move your brush, you always want to do the shape of the object. Okay? Make sure you remember that one. That one's a good one. Okay, now we need a handle, right? So I'm going to start over here, and I want to go towards my center. I got to find my center. Oh. So I'm going to mark where my center is, and then I'm going to swoop this way. Swoop. And then I'm going to swoop that way, swoop, right? And then I could always schmooze and fix once I get the original arch in there. Okay, so there we go. We have our basket shape. Yes. All right, so I want to swirl tap that big boy because he's got lots and lots of paint in him. And I'm going to grab some clean white. I'm going to grab some clean white going on here. So, St. Patty's is over. We did all our St. Patty's, right? We got cool paintings coming up, right? We got our friends in the tub. We got our I can't think of what we got now. My brain just went completely blank. All right, we got our mermaids. We got our friends in the tub. What else do we have? Let me walk over to my calendar here. Oh, Winter Friends is tonight, Friday. Okay, so Winter Friends. Friends in the Tub, Mermaids Party, and then we're going to have Nosy Gnome because it's going to be the Friday before Easter already. That's how quickly that goes, right? 6,000%. So I am going to grab my white paint. I'm just going to grab white because this is really, really wet. And I was trying to do this without mapping first, and you see how well that worked, right? Because you can't, it's really not showing up. So I'm going to grab my white paint, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to put the strokes of white in here, and then we got to give it a minute to dry. Otherwise, the brown is just going to get lost. And as I'm doing this, right, see, this is why we map first. Oh, thank you so much, Bonnie, for the stars. You're amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. You all warm my heart. You're the ones that keep this this train wreck. I mean, paint parties going. Because the sad fact is that art supplies are not free, right? If they were free, I would have no room in my house for anything. I have no room in my house for anything anyway, but that is the sad fact that they are not free. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there, and we got to give this a minute to dry. And I am just, I'm just kind of pulling the paint on here. And following, if you noticed, I'm scooping. I'm doing this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Notice I'm doing the scooping shape, right? So you always want to do the shape of your object with your brush strokes. And in my mind, I'm already picturing the basket weave. So I'm already starting to picture that in my mind on how I want that to go. Okay, so there we go. All right, now for the inside of the basket, I'm going to grab, I'm going to swirl tap dab my brush. You found a bunch of frames at Goodwill today. Yay! Yes! That's awesome. I get excited with anything to do with art supplies. I get excited with anything to do about Easter candy. And I get excited with anything to do about art supplies. 6,000%. Okay, so I'm going to take a microscopic amount of black. And I'm going to grab my brown from before. And I'm going to do a little dab. A little dab here. So I'm going to make this really dark brown. Garage sales are great for frames too. Yeah, I bet. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add the darker color on the inside. And notice I left that little rim right there. So, you know, if you're putting things in your basket, you might not have to worry about that little rim in the back. You might be putting objects in your basket already, but if you're not, then you want to leave that little rim in the back there. You want to leave that little rim in the back. So just make that a dark brown. And we got to let this dry. Otherwise, I'm going to have a muddy mess. And we don't want that. So, because it already started churning into that. And wood plaques to paint over too. Yes. So, I heard a lot of people, they'll go to like the dollar store and they'll get the, they'll get like the signs and stuff. They'll get the signs and stuff that are already made and they'll turn around and paint over them because they're using the wood. I think that's a really nifty idea. And while we're at it, why don't we put I'm going to swirl tap that big boy, and I'm going to put some grass blades in while we're waiting for this to dry. I just want to paint. I don't want to wait for the paint to dry. Oh, and thank you, everybody, for the stars. I see the stars counting. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to grab blue, and I'm going to grab some yellow over here, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to flick. I'm just going to flick. I'm just going to flick because I'm waiting for my basket to dry, and I want to paint something. So we're going to put our basket sitting in the grass. Okay, so I'm doing flickies over here. I'm going to come underneath, fill that in, right? And also you could take this opportunity to fix your shape if you need to. Okay, and we're just going to put this sitting in some grass while we are waiting for it to dry. And I need it over here. Flick, flickadoos, flickadoos. That's all we're doing. Flickadoos, flicky flickies. Flick, 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 flick. Yep. So Donna, it's awesome you paint with your little one, and yep. All the videos, ever since I started, have been kid-friendly. So you can go and find anything you want to do. And you won't have to worry about anything. Hi, Lisa V. How you doing, sweetheart? Lisa V's in the house. So, I'm grabbing more yellow paint, and we're going to churn around, and I'm going to swirl tap dab my brush again, because it's getting there. It's getting there. And I'm going to grab my white paint, and I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to do this rim better. Okay. And the handle looks like it's going to cooperate. So what I'm going to do for the handle is I'm going to do a twist. We're going to do a twist. Okay? I'm going to do a twist for the handle. So I need to grab a smaller brush. And I'm going to grab... I think I'm going to grab the 1/2-inch brush. So it's just like Big Boy. It's a flat brush. It's just use a 1/2 inch. You're okay. I hope everyone's doing well. Awesome. So, and I want to do a twist. So doing that, I'm going to grab my white with my brown. Okay. And when you do a twist, you're going to turn around and you're going to pull at an angle down the side here. Okay, so you get like a little bump, and then you're going to pull from an angle this way. Okay, so I'm putting pull from an angle and then just round it out. Pull from an angle, round it out. Okay. So when you're doing a twist, you're going to fill in all these pieces. It's like doing little teardrops almost. Okay, and you just want to follow along the basket. Right, I'm just doing little scribble ovals because I'm just getting the shape in there. And then I'm going to fix it as I paint in the detail later. So right now I'm just, it's kind of like a teardrop oval shape like that. Okay. So, but I'm going to just with the white, I'm just going to put the, I'm just doing some scribble ovals for now because I will get exactly what I need once this dries and I go to do the detail in it. So right now for mapping, I don't have to be that particular. I don't have to be that particular for mapping. Okay, so we're just getting the shape in there that we want. So now we have to do a basket weave. So I'm going to go back to Big Boy. And I'm going to grab my my black and my brown. And I'm going to come in here. I'm also going to do a twist on the top. So I'm going to go down a little bit here. And I'm just going to put a stripe. And then I'm going to put another stripe. Okay? And I'm getting the different effect because I'm not over mixing on my brush. I'm literally just dabbing some paint on here and then letting all those colors work on the brush. So you get the different coloration. The brush is doing all the work for me. The brush is doing all of the work for me. So I just want to get these stripes in here. Okay, get my my brown base color going on. And then when you're doing a basket weave, it can get a little confusing in your mind. So I'm going to try to do this without it getting... Oh, yeah, we were talking about that before, Lisa. I'm sorry, I'm living in my bubble again. So, I'm going to give that a second to dry. And I'm going to, so now I'm going to put the little bumps here. Okay, and I'm going to try to do this without confusing it in my own mind. Because doing a basket weave, it could start, you can get yourself a little confused. And, it happens to me too, so don't feel like you're not doing something, anything different than the same type of frustration somebody else would go through, because it does get a little confusing when you're trying to do a weave. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I need another dark stripe, so microscopic amount of black with my brown. Put another one in here. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to make lines for yourself. So I'm going to grab my white with my light brown. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make lines for myself. Okay? And I want them evenly spaced apart. Notice they're at a curve. Everything's a curve because the basket is round, so everything is a curve. It's all a curve. It is all a curve. Okay, and then once I have those guidelines down, then I could start doing my weave. So I'm going to turn around and grab the white paint with the lighter brown. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to turn around and put a square. And then then you want to measure your space. So this is a 1-inch flat. So I do my square just by pulling my brush flat. Then I measure the brush length. And then I put another one. And then I measure the brush length. Put another one. Brush length. Put another one. Brush length. Another one. Okay? And I'm following that curve. And now I'm going to grab some more paint. And then you're going to go opposite that. So you're going to go in these spaces now. And I am just pulling with my brush. That's all I'm doing. And I'm using those guidelines that I used before. So yes, Lisa, my allergies are starting to, and then I'm just doing like a little piece on the edge here. That's all. Just a suggestion of the other piece. So I have to start wearing, those of you who are new to the fam, I have extreme allergies. So whenever I go outside, I got paint on my forehead. See that, guys? I'm getting paint everywhere tonight. I have no idea how I did that. Alright, I'm all fixed now. Yep, so I have to wear goggles when I go outside, and then now I'm just going in between in these other spaces. So you want to, like a checkerboard, and it, you know, and it gets confusing because when you do your when you're doing your base color, you're thinking you have to put stripes in for yourself, but really you need to just have the guidelines in there, so all of your pieces wind up being the same size. So when you're doing this, notice I did my base coat and then all I did was lines, so to guide me where to stop my brush before I do the next piece. So that is how you would do the weave in the basket. Okay, just like that. All right, so I'll give everybody a chance to catch up mustard with their, so it's you're basically just painting a checkerboard. But a lot of times people get confused because you're thinking in your mind that you have to, when you put your initial color in, that you have to make like separate stripes, and you don't. It's the same stripe, and then I put the lighter stripe in just so I would have a guide. I would have a guide to where to stop my square. Okay, so and we're going to work on this even more. I'm going to add to it. I'm going to show you some things, but so that is the base of what you need to do. And I know it could get a little confusing when you're trying to picture it in your head how to do a weave, because for some reason you think like these lines that I did this way have to be different, but they don't. It's all the same. Then you put a little mini line to guide you, and then you put your squares in using that line that you guided yourself with. That's how that works. Okay? So I can see how you could easily confuse that in your brain, because I have more than once. So I get it. But it's actually easier than what it looks like, you know? So, okay. So I'm going to do my braided stuff here, right? So I'm going to grab my dark brown that I made with the black before. And I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to try not to put my hand on my basket. And I want to turn around and put this like little bean. It's like a little bean or a teardrop or something. And now I'm going to change. Now I'm not going to clean my brush. I'm just going to grab the lighter brown now. And I'm going to come in here and do another little bean. And then grab my darker brown. So it's just these little oval shapes, but it kind of comes to a point on the side here. So I'm going to swoop this down, and then I'm going to swoop this down. So it's kind of like a floppy tear, if we could call it that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a teardrop that kind of just flopped over. So if you want to call it that, and I just alternate the colors to fill it in. And it's, like I said, it's kind of like a floppy teardrop. And you're just going to put these in. So if you want to do a braided handle, you can do a braided handle. And once I have the floppy teardrop, I'm going to come in here, and now I'm going to square off the other side like this. I'm going to square that off. Okay, and you're going to do this. So I do a floppy tear. Do a floppy tear. And I'll do a couple of these. Right? And I'm just switching between my darker and lighter color. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. And I'm just working my way up the handle. And then once I have that shape in, I'm going to go on this side and I'm going to square these off. We're just doing a little zigzag zoom action, that's all. Just pushing the paint. And you just want to get this base color in for yourself. So that is how you would do the shape. And then you just follow your handle as you're doing this. So you just follow your handle around. So when you get towards the top, you're going to follow your handle around. So then it's a floppy teardrop, but it's like you're going to start going upside down. Okay? And you could also do just the teardrop shape if you want. Like at the top, I'm doing just the teardrop shapes, if you notice. And then I could go in, I'm going to wipe my brush off, and then I could go in with my darker paint and fill in the pieces in the middle with the squared off shape. So there's a lot of different ways to make it look like it's weaved. The handle is one of those like weaved wraparound handles. So this is how I do the tops of them though. I kind of just do the teardrop shape and then I go in between with the darker color to square it off. So I kind of do these like upside down triangles with the darker color to do the top of the handle. Okay, so now I know that this can all look very tricky, but it's not. See, teardrop shape. And I'm going to do all of my lighter ones here. I'm going to do my lighter ones. Right, I'm just doing the tear. Just filling these in. Okay. Not being very particular, just getting the color on there. Right, now I'm going to wipe my brush off, and I'm going to grab the darker paint, and I'm going to go in between. I'm going to go in between with those teardrop shapes. So this side I alternated between the light and the dark. This side I'm doing all the light ones first, and now I'm putting the dark ones in between them. So it's the same, I'm doing the same exact thing, just a different way to go about it, because I don't want to turn around and you know, keep having to wash my brush in between my colors. Okay, so I'm going to put all the darker ones in now in that laying teardrop shape. And then I'll swirl tap dab my brush, and I'm just going to square off my edges. So this way they line up. Okay, so the shape you wind up with is kind of like almost kind of like an S curve. Like, let me close up, guys, close up. Like, you see, that's like what you wind up with once you square the edges. Like that shape right there, that is like the perfect weave shape right there. See that? Kind of looks like I don't know how to explain it. That's what it is, though. So, you know, you could do the teardrop and then just square the other edge off. That's the way I do them. You know, if you want to draw that for yourself, there's way, you know, you could draw that for yourself, right? So it would be a line with the squiggly line on top and bottom. So that's the shape you want when you're doing a handle. That's the weave handle. Okay? Y'all with me still? you still with me? Let's see here. I got Sue and Cynthia, Cindy, Punky, Tina M, Tina B. Tina M got a new fur baby. Marsha's hanging out with us. Artist is here. Bonnie, Donna. Hello, Donna. Allison and Tippy, Diane and Laverne. And Tina is here now. So we got our fam all hanging out, painting baskets. It's all good stuff. And I want to do the braiding. Oh, wait, braiding. Isn't that what you call it? Braiding? I don't know what you call it. A twist? Braiding? I don't know the terminology. That's for you guys to know. I just know how to paint it. I just know how to paint it. I don't know the terminology. Alright, so I'm going to turn around and do the ones on the trim here now. Okay, but I have to make more brown paint because I ran out. Alright, again, how to make brown. Okay, yellow, red, blue, white. Mix it all together. If it's looking too green, add more red. That's too green, so I got to add more red. Okay, if it's looking too green, add more red. If it's looking too purple, add more blue. Right? So when you mix brown, you got to play with it a little bit. And my suggestion is if you're mixing brown for a painting, make sure that you mix enough of it, because to recapture the original brown that you had, is nearly impossible. Okay? So if you're using brown, got all that paint in my brush. I'm trying to squeeze it out. Make sure you understand. Hello, Katie. How you doing, sweetheart? Braiding is a good term. Okay, braiding works for me. All right, there you guys go. So, you know we don't get technical here. It's just not going to happen. There's no reason to use all these fancy words and everything else. As long as we know how to paint it, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Okay, so I'm going to do the braiding on the trim here. And it's basically the same thing, except I'm going to show you that shape that I just showed you before. So I'm going to show you how to make that shape exactly without doing the teardrop trick. So, like I said, there's more than one way to do this, and you're going to find what you're most comfortable with to do it. Okay, so you're going to find what you're most comfortable with to do these shapes. So it's completely up to you. Yes, there is a rapper called Sir Mix-a-Lot. I remember. I'm not old. Alright, so that shape I showed you before was, it's like, let me add white so you can see that. So you do like a squiggle line like this, and then this part is going to come up, and then this part is going to come down. So it's kind of like a square or rectangle with an S curve in it. And I'm trying to find a certain brush to show you, and I can't seem to find the brush. So we're going to go, I'm grabbing a tiny here so I can show you better the shape, because it's hard to see me using mini-me. Okay, so here's the shape, right? You put a line here. Let's get you guys a little closer. Close up. Alright, so you put a line here, and you put a line down here, lower, and then you would do a squiggle. Like that. Okay, so that is another way to do them. Alright, but since I am going horizontal and this is the trim of a basket, I need these all to line up, but I wanted to show you the braid shape. Okay, now I think it's just easier to do, yeah, like a dog biscuit, not texting, watching, and driving. Oh, good, artist. Don't, I'm using tiny now. Yeah, I switched to tiny to be able to draw the shape for you. I personally like the teardrop. That's my preference, because I just make a lazy teardrop. And then I could do them all connected. And then I go back in and I just square it off. So then you get that weave shape, and it's not taking a lot of work. So it's really up to you guys. It's personal preference. I like the lazy teardrop. It seems to connect things better. And then you could turn around and, you know, schmooze it any way you need to schmooze it. So it's really just personal preference at this point. It's your creations. It's however you want to paint them. Doesn't really, you know, it's all your comfort level. If you want to do, somebody just called it a dog biscuit, you could do the dog biscuit shape, or you can do the teardrop shapes, It's whatever you want to do. You like the teardrop method? That's kind of like where I'm going. And then because once you get the teardrop in there, you can kind of play with it and fix it to be able to have it weave together any way you need it to weave together. So that's the way I like to do it, right? So I'm going to do my teardrops. And I could do it very quickly. And I'm just layering. I'm back to mini-me, guys. I grab mini-me again. Tiny's in the water. And then I can just lay them on top of each other any way I need to. And then I could go back in. I can go back in and schmooze them the way I want later. But for now, I'm just going to lay the teardrops all on top of each other. And then when I go back in, I could fix them. Or you could even do ovals if you wanted to, not the teardrop. But I like to do the teardrop because it kind of gets in that little nook right there. Like where the braid is kind of disappearing underneath the other piece. So I like to do it that way. Some people do just do ovals. I mean, you could totally just do the ovals if you want to. It's really up to you, you know. It's just however you want to do your braiding, right? It's all personal preference there. I didn't alternate the colors here. I did alternate them going up my basket, just because it's easier for you guys to see the shape and the braiding. I'm going to show you how to add details to these to make them pop even more. We got to wait for them to dry. So now that you have the way to get the base of the braiding on there, I'm going to show you how to make it sweet. But I alternate the colors just because it's easier for me to see. And so I don't get confused and wind up with a mushy mess of all this stuff running together. Because if you guys see, I didn't alternate the colors here. So this is looking just like a big mushy mess. Now I can see it because I've done this numerous times. But if you guys are just beginning and starting doing this braiding effect, I would suggest alternating because this is easier to see and to look at and to fix than if you were painting and you have something like that. Then you might get lost. You might get lost if you're looking at something like that because I did not alternate the colors on this piece. I put the shapes in, but it's hard to tell because it's all the same color. So just for the simple fact of just learning how to do this, that's my suggestion, to alternate. Because you ever go to paint something and you're painting something and you're trying to get everything all correct and you're getting your shapes in and everything else, and then you take a step back and look at it and you're like, all you see, yeah, right, Sue? Thank you. All you see is a big mushy mess. I've done that. You guys done that, right? You try, like, say you're doing foliage, right? And you don't change your colors up, and you're putting all this foliage on, and now it just looks like a big mushy mess because you don't see the difference. Yeah, I would alternate the color. For you guys, yeah. So for you guys, I would alternate the colors on the rim too. I just didn't do it because I wanted to get it on there, to be honest with you. But if you're doing this at home, I would alternate these colors too. Because this way, it doesn't look like a big mess. So let's get I love to do roll call. Oh yeah. So Sue is in the house, Cynthia, Cindy, Punky, Tina M, Tina B, Marsha, Artist, is watching. She's not texting and driving. We got Bonnie and Donna and Allison and Tippy, Diane, Laverne, and Tina V. All right, so now I'm going to show you. I'm giving everybody a chance to catch up mustard. Right? You do that often. Yeah, I understand. I get it completely. So whoever's painting along, I'm giving you a chance to catch up. So I'm going to show you how to put your details in now. And then I'm going to show you how to put the details in the braiding, and we're going to be all set. So, depending on how particular you want to get with your baskets, it's up to you how far you take it. Now, I could stop here, and it's acceptable as a basket, right? But if you want to go and do the extra step, now we're going to get into the details of doing the basket. Okay? And when you're doing the details of the basket, you got to pay attention to which ones are on top and which ones are underneath. Okay? Now, I made it. I forgot Carolyn. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. Carolyn in the house. Hi, sweetheart. My bad. So, if you noticed, when I did my base color, I did the darker color first. And then I put the lighter squares on top of it, because I already have which ones are underneath and which ones are on top. So that's why I did the darker color first and then the lighter on top, to save me some work. Alright, guys? Okay, so I'm going to turn around and I'm going to show you how to do the details in the weaving. Okay, so I am going to take Mini Me, and I'm going to grab that brown paint that I had before. And this one is underneath, so I'm going to just put that in better. Put that square in better. Right, and I'm going to do this one too. So I'm going to put that square in better. And now I'm going to take Tiny. I'm going to take Tiny and I'm going to grab some black with that brown. Right, dark brown color. And I'm going to come in here, and the part that is going under, I want to put the shadow on, and then just zig zoom this out. Wipe my brush off because I have too much paint on it, and then I'm just going to zigzag zoom. And this way, I had a little too much dark on my brush. So I'm going to go back to my brown and add the brown back in. So I had a little too much dark on there. You really just want it to be on the edges. So microscopic amount. Microscopic amount. Okay, wipe my brush off and zigzag zoom to get that shadow onto the weave part. And the same over on this one. So I put the lines in for the shadow, wipe my brush off, and a little zigzag zoom to feed it in. And I'm going to grab some more of my brown, put it right in the middle, and go back and forth with that. Okay, so on the piece that's on top, now I'm going to do these with Mini Me, right? I was just doing that with Tiny, and you should never do, You shouldn't do that with tiny too much because you're going to ruin your tiny brush. So you don't want to do it too much. You don't want to do that with your tiny brush too much. So I'm going to come in here with Mini Me now. Put that in. Wipe my brush off. Grab a little bit of dark. Put the dark in. Back and forth. So, this process, right, wipe my brush off. And zigzag zoom. And that will put the pieces underneath. And notice everything I did was with a curve. Everything you do should be a curve. Yes, very detailed, Tina B. And then the one on top, okay, so I'm going to grab my white. I'm going to grab my brown. And now we're going to do the one on top. You know, you want to put it in so it has a curve to it. Okay. And then you want to turn around and add, you know, you can do the edges a little bit with the lighter color. Right, I'm just zigzagging, zooming some edges in there to make it so it's looking like it's going round. Curve, curve. Wipe my brush off, and now I'm going to grab some white paint, and this is going to have a highlight or a lighter area. Okay. So that is how you do the individual pieces. So curve, 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 zigzag zoom, wipe my brush off, grab a little bit of the brown, put the brown in on the edges here, wipe my brush off, grab some white, throw some white in the middle. Wipe my brush off. Soften it out. Little zigzag zoom. Very light touch because I'm working in a small space. And you would do each piece individually. Now, if I was painting this for myself and not showing you guys, I would do all my dark squares first. And then I would do all my light squares after that. So I would fill in all my dark squares. Right? This is where you're going to fix your lines up. You're going to get those curves in there. Right? Now I'm going to grab a microscopic amount of black. Bam, 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 bam. Wipe my brush off. Zigzag zoom. Zigzag zoom. Zigzag zoom, zigzag zoom, done. Okay, and then for the lighter ones, and I would do all my dark ones, and then I'll go in and do my lighter ones when I'm done, because then as I'm doing my lighter ones, notice all curved edges, I could fix, and the white. Just like that. Wipe off my brush. Do a little ziggy zag zoom. And you would do every piece of the basket like that. So, it's really up to you how much you want to commit to your basket. That's up to you. I'm going to give you a close-up. Close-up. Earthquake. Okay, so it's really up to you how detailed do you want to get. And then coming over to the edge, right? Put the little scoop in for the edge. Do this edge, do a little scoop for the edge. Okay, wipe my brush off, grab my darks. Dark, 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 dark. Wipe my brush off. Zigzag zoom. Zigzag zoom. Okay, wipe my brush off. Do my lighter ones. Boop. Boop. Fix the edge, right? Doing little curves. Everything's kind of rounded and curvy. Grab my white. Put that on. Wipe my brush off. And zigzag zoom. So, it's completely up to you on how much you want to commit to the basket. And if you notice, right, and then you can just play a little bit, you know, like you just kind of play a little bit here and there and add some darkers, add some lighters. So if you notice that spot that I did, bam, right, now we're getting it even more basket-like. Whoop, that was way too much white paint. I'll wipe my brush off. Okay, and again, always do rounded edges. Rounded edges, so you keep with it being round, and because when something is weaved, it goes in and out, so it's going to have a curve to it. You favor the reddish-brown solid basket type. Would you use 2 slightly different red colors and then just highlight to shine it up? Yes. Yes, Carolyn. So the reddish-brown solid basket type. Yes. So do 2 slightly different red colors. Yep. And then you would just add like where it curves. See, so as I'm doing this, you guys notice me putting in all these curved areas, how it's looking round. So if you're doing a basket and it's a solid without a weave, I did a how-to on 3D shapes. You would put the highlight, the lighter color, on the part that is coming out towards you. Just like I did the little square. I put the light on the piece that's going to be coming out towards me. Okay, and then the edges. So that's how you would do that. You're welcome. All right, so I would go through this really quickly, right? Like I said, I'll do all my lighter ones. Curve, curve. Or you can do all your darker ones. Curve, curve. It's completely up to you. It's your basket. It's your world. However you want to paint them in. And don't stress the sides of the basket. Don't stress it. You just put a little kiss, a little taste of the other piece. That's all you would do. A little kiss of the other piece. That's all you would have to do. Okay, and then this one, the dark, is all the way to the edge. And the dark over here in between this one. And it's really up to you guys and your creations. You know, how detailed do you want to get? How much do you want to commit to making this basket? So it's really up to you as far as how detailed are you going to go. Like I said, what we did before is completely acceptable. If you want to get into making it look more and more realistic, that's when you start doing these pieces separate. Okay. And then there's a kiss of the lighter one. And put the lighter one here. So, and your edges, you know, you just put a little piece in. If it's getting to the point of where the other piece is going to be starting, like right here, then in that little spot, I'm going to put, like you could just see the side of the piece starting. Okay, so that's how you would finish out your sides of your basket. So if it's getting to the point of where the other piece is going to start, put it in. If it's just the piece finishing it off, notice this is rounded. Everything's rounded. Okay, this is going to be starting the other piece. So put that in there, and that is how you would do the details on each little weave piece. And like I said, curve. Everything is curvy. Curvy, because when things are weaved, they go in and out, so they're making like a little arc. Okay? Now you can tell the difference between this side of the basket and then that side. So, you know, the details are worth it, 6,000%. And then, you know, when that dries, you can go in and get even more particular. So you can go in when that dries and add even another layer if you wanted to. So it's really how much investment do you want to make into making your basket. And then, you know, I just play around and add like little pieces that might be catching the light. You know, make it look, remember when we said not everything has to be exacta? When we did all that practicing how to do stuff painterly, right? We don't have to make it so it's all exacta. So I'm going to put in a few little pieces of white in here just to play, like say the light is hitting it there. So, bye Lisa V. Okay, so now we're going to do the braiding, and I'm going to show you how to do the braiding. Okay, so the braiding is, whew, had to take a sip of coffee. Hi everybody. How's everybody doing? So the braiding, I'm working hard tonight. I'm working hard. It's all good. So the braiding, I'm going to take tiny. Right? And so, you know, you wouldn't think it, but you could really, you could spend a very, am I going to show you how to paint spoon the basket? I don't understand what you wrote, Bonnie. Am I going to show? Yeah, I don't understand what you wrote. Maybe you're, I think your spell check got in the way like it did before. Try it again, sweetie. Alright, so we're going to do the weave part. And I'll show you on the part that I didn't alternate so you can see. Okay, so this part is, I'm going to grab, are you going to show how to paint something? Oh, paint something in the basket. Oh, yeah, I could put something in the basket. That's fine. We can totally do that. All right, let me map that out real quick. Okay, so what do you guys want in the basket? You want like an Easter egg or something? We can do that. All right, so I'm going to grab Big Boy, and let me grab some clean white paint so I can map the Easter egg out. Okay, so no worries. All right, so Big Boy, white paint, And let's see, let's say there's an Easter egg in here, okay? So I'm going to go into the corner here, and we're just going to put in the Easter egg shape. Okay, so there's one Easter egg. There we go. All right, and then I can show you how you would paint that since it's in a basket. All right, so now I'm going to grab Tiny, and I'm going to show you how to do the lighter and darker pieces on the braided part. Now that we have the terminology. All right, so I'm going to grab my black with my brown for that darker brown color. I'm using Tiny. And I'm going to come in here to my floppy teardrop. Okay, and I'm going to go around, right, the one that's over it. And I'm coming in here, and I'm going to get in this corner. Okay, so you want to get in that corner. And then I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm going to grab the brown. And I'm going to put the brown in here. And then I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm going to grab a microscopic amount of white with my brown. And we're going to finish the piece that is sticking out the furthest. Okay, so let me show you that again. So I'm going to grab the black with my brown. I'm going to come in here into this happy little corner right here. Fill that in with the very, very dark color. Wipe my brush off. Grab just my brown. I'm going to put that in there. Just the brown. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my white, and we're going to put that on the edge. All right. And I have to fix this a little bit because it lost its teardrop thing going on. So let's put that back in. And square off my edge. And let me grab a little bit more white and put that in on the edge. Okay, so that is how you would do. Wipe my brush off, grabbing a little bit more dark, because that is an Eve thing. I tend to lose my dark as I'm putting the light in. Zigzag zoom between these two. Get it nice and soft. And that would be how you do your weave pieces. Okay, and now we're going to do the ones here. The ones with the biscuit, like you can really tell the biscuit shape because it's not getting curled in. All right, so we have, I'm grabbing my dark paint. Let's put our shape in so we can see it, our little biscuit shape. Or as I like to call it, this squared off lazy teardrop. Now I'm going to grab my brown. Put the brown in there. Wipe my brush off. Okay, grab a little bit more of the black. I'm going to put the black right in there on the inside and on top here. Now I'm going to clean my brush a little bit, and I'm going to grab that white with the brown. Come in here. And make that lighter. Alright, so do another one for you. So I'm going to grab my brown paint, and I'll come in here, and I'm going to put in my lazy teardrop. Or the dog biscuit shape, or whatever your little heart desires as far as getting the shape in there. Grab my dark brown. Come in here. Put the dark in the corner and underneath the other piece. On the inside. Do a little zigzag zoom action. Do, 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 do. Ziggy zaggy zoomy. Okay, so if you guys have any questions for me, now's the time to ask, because I'm going to show you how to do the egg in the basket, and then we're going to be all set for tonight. So if you have any questions on how to do any of this, ask now or forever hold your peace. So basically, to do the braided part, you want to do dark on the inside. You want to do dark on top, because that's going to be underneath the other piece. Right? You're going to zigzag zoom that into your brown, into the whole part. And then... Sure, Bonnie, I could put a spot on the event page to show your baskets if you guys want me to. I usually don't do that for the How To Tuesdays, but I can do that. Yep, go on, when I'm done, I'll go on the event page and I'll make a spot. And that is how you would do the weave all the way up. So, Tina B, your favorite, details, details, details. Lots and lots of details. So, just like anything else, though, the more, the more you add to it, the more realistic it's going to look. Because obviously, if you look at these two pieces, that looks more like a braid than that. So that is without adding the darker and lighter areas. And then you have the part with the darker and lighter areas. Okay, so this is without the darker and lighter areas, and this is with the darker and lighter areas. So you can see the difference on you can see the difference on adding the layers to it. So we started off with the base, then we kind of put where our shapes are going to be, and then we put the crisscross in, and now I'm going back in and putting the darker areas and the lighter areas. When this dries, I could actually go back in and even add more to it. So the more layers you add, the more realistic it's going to become. Alright. Yep, so basically it's all it's not really like it's not like it's just putting dark and light. So I showed you guys how to zigzag zoom dark and light, I don't know how many times, right? When we did flower petals and everything else. So it's really, up to you, and how committed do you want to be? Some people have the patience to do this. Some people don't. Yes, like the snakes, like the to crisscross braid on the handle would just be a matter of shading. That's it, Carolyn. It's just adding, see? And when you do that little hook piece, that's the piece that makes it look like it's twisting. That little hook piece right there, that's what I was explaining to you before. It's a lazy teardrop, and then you have, because you have that, the teardrop has that little hook piece, and then you kind of just square off this edge. So that little hook piece right here is the money maker. That's what makes it look like it's braided and twisting all the way around. Right, like with the snakes and the bows and everything else. So it's really just putting the darker and lighter on there and then zigzag zooming it. That's all it is. That is all it is. And, you know, if you want to try something like this, try it on a bigger surface. Because if you try to do all of this with a small canvas, you're going to make your eyes hurt. You're going to make your eyes hurt is what you're going to do. Alright, so I'm going to swirl tap dab my half-inch brush. Like I said, it's just like Big Boy, except he's smaller. And I got a ton of Mr. Nifties going out. With the shading change on the top or the other side. So you always put the darker pieces, the darker part is always where that hook is. So when you're on the other side, and it's always facing into the basket. It's always facing into the basket. So your dark areas are going to be always the side that's facing into the basket. Okay, so I'm going to give everybody a chance to catch up mustard with that. And we'll do the egg, and I'll do a piece that's on top. And we'll be all set. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I'll show you a piece. Yep, Allison, you got it. So the dark is always going to be on the inside because I can, it's always going to be in there. All right, so let's do our egg. So those of you that are saying, I can't get mine to look realistic and all of that jazz, honestly, the more you play with it, the more realistic it's going to get. That's all there is to it. The more shading and highlights or darker and lighter areas you add to an object, the more realistic it's going to get. Like the twists and the bends and the bows and the flower petals and the basket weave. It's all a matter of adding darker and lighter areas. So you guys can totally do this. So with an object in the basket, obviously light is only going to be hitting from the top, you know, coming into the basket from the top. So this piece over here is going to be the darkest area. So let me grab some white, and I'll grab some yes, you could totally do it. I know you can. And let's grab some blue. So I'm grabbing some white and I'm grabbing some blue. Right? Do my base color. Do my base color. Swoop. And swoop this around. Swoop. Okay. So an egg is a round object. Okay. And like I said, I did a how-to on how to paint 3D objects. I did spheres, cones, triangles, cylinders, all sorts of stuff. And I also have them on my TikTok videos now. So those of you that are on TikTok, you can access my tabletop tidbits I do on TikTok, and I showed how to do 3D shapes on a few of those videos so far. So that's my base color, right? So you guys can do this. You have a base color. You do the base, right? Map with white. Do a base color. It's the same steps, whatever you're shading in. Repeat after me. Same steps, whatever you're shading in. White. Map out the object. Base color. Just a flat base of what you want your general color to be. Then, you got to make your darker areas. Right? Your darker areas are always opposite of where the light's coming from. They're always opposite of where the light's coming from. Okay, and this being a round object, it's going to be on the sides too. I'm going to wipe my brush off. I'm going to do a little zigzag zoom to blend this in. Right, soften it out. A little zigzag zoom action. Okay, now my lighter area, I'm going to grab a little bit of white and a little bit of that blue, and I'm going to put my lighter area in. And I got some brown on there somehow. I don't know how, but that's okay. It's okay. And then you're going to do your lighter area. Okay, wipe my brush off and just do a little back and forth to blend it in. It's the same thing with whatever you're painting. You have to know where the light is coming from. Okay, now I did white, base color, put my dark, put my light. Now, in a perfect world, I would let this dry, but it's okay. Now, I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm adding another layer to it. Dark here. Dark on the sides. Wipe off my brush. Soften it in. Okay, little zigzag zoom. Soften it in. Because the more you build up your color and the more you build up the darker and lighter areas, the more realistic it's going to become. Wipe off my brush, add my lighter area. Okay, it's round, so it's going to be hitting the round. It's not going to be hitting from the edge. The lighter area is going to be in the round part that is going to be towards me. And do it again. So how do we do this, right? Same steps no matter what you're doing. Okay, here's the steps. Mapping. Do your white. Do your base color, right? General color you want your object. Then I always do my darks first. Put your dark area in. Opposite of the light. Soften it out. Put your light area in. Where the light is hitting the object. Then repeat. That's it. And then you just keep repeating and building on it. Acrylic is all about building. You just keep repeating and building on it until you get it the way you want it. And that's the same thing we did with the basket, right? What did I do? I mapped it. A very sloppy mapping, but I mapped it. Then I put a base color in. Then I went back in and added darks and lights. Okay? And then I could go back in and I did it a little bit more. So it's just repeat. You just repeat the same steps, and the more times you do the steps, the more realistic it's going to get. And that's it, guys. 6,000%. You guys can totally do this. So the object in the basket, sweetheart, is basically the part that is in towards the basket is going to be your darker area, because obviously it's in the basket, and the lighter areas are going to be on top Yes, building is definitely definitely necessary with acrylics. Oils, not so much. Oils are very rich in color. There are acrylics out there that are very rich in color if you get the heavy body acrylics. But they're also another whole different animal. So it's definitely necessary when you're dealing with acrylic paint is the layering on top of each other. Everything in layers. More layers you do, more realistic it can get. So, Tina B and the rest of my fam that was on tonight, you guys can do this. You know what I do is sometimes, you're welcome, Carolyn. Sometimes I have it on the easel. I do the base color. I do like a layer of the dark and light. And then I leave it there, and then I come back and I add a little bit more to it. And then I leave it there, and I come back and add a little more to it. So you don't have to do it all in one shot. You know what I mean? We get tired. We get tired, and then if you get tired, you're going to start getting sloppy. Acrylics are not instantaneous satisfaction. They're not. It's all a matter of building, like Bonnie said. So, but you guys can do it. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. That's why I show you how to do it, because I know you can do it. All right, guys. So I hope that you all have fun with your Easter baskets or whatever baskets you're making. Usually I have 2 or 3 paintings going on at one time, and you can walk and let them dry. Yes, yes, Tina B. So you do it over several sessions. Yep. You are so welcome, sweetheart. So you guys, I hope that this helps you with your basket creating. And, you know, this part is tricky. So don't stress it. You know, you get that little nook in there, that little piece right there. That's the money piece when you're doing a braid. So that's the little money piece right there. And it's always darkest on the inside. You are so, so, so welcome. Do I have this upside? I have this upside down. Thank you for the stars, Sue. You're a sweetheart. Thank you, everybody, for the stars. And also, I have Venmo and PayPal, Cash App. So thank you so much, guys. You guys keep the lights on. And you keep the paint a-flowing. So I really appreciate it. And this Friday, good night, winter. So we're going to say good night to winter. With our little friends. Say goodbye to our little winter friends. So that's the coffee cup one. You guys don't have to do the winter. You know, if you want to do just the coffee cup, you can. Okay, Bonnie, that's fine. That's good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You try to do that's fine, sweetie. Yep. That technology stuff always gets me too. Oh, and when you're doing an object in the basket, see how I wound up going out of my lines here? You would just put that back in. I just kind of noticed that in the camera. So if you go out of your lines, you would come back in and just put this back in over the object to set it into the basket. Okay, so I just noticed that in the video, in the camera. So if you go out of your lines with your objects, put the basket back on top of it. Little last minute little tidbit in there. So, all good. And if you guys, whoever's watching the replay, if anybody ever has any questions, 6,000%, you can message me, ask me anything you need to. And the best way to get in touch with me is Facebook Messenger. So this way I will definitely respond if you need to get in touch with me. And I'm playing. And the number one rule, guys, is to have fun. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, artists. So, thank you, everybody. Oh, you're so welcome. I try. So, thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. And y'all warm my heart. Have fun and go create, okay? Good night, everybody.